Hello, divine, beautiful souls. This is Energy Speaks Podcast with your host, Catriel. We have a very special guest here today on this Halloween, Mendi Curtis. How are you today?
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
Good. Even though you guys will not hear it on Halloween, it'll be a few weeks from now. But I want to preface something because we talk a lot about energy on here and parallels on energy. So whatever day you actually listen to this, there is a parallel energy to Halloween. So I find that super interesting. So I don't even know what that date is yet.
Wow. That's cool.
So, okay, so let me give you a little backstory on Mendi. Okay, so she's a Sag, by the way.
Yeah, and a lot of Scorpio.
And so, I was out on one of my nightly adventures. I love to go to St. Pete and just walk through the streets. It's a fun thing for me. And so I was going past Ringside, and I saw these beautiful creations, on the table out there, and wire wrappings, different things like that, and her energy was just bam, right? And so we ended up talking about I think it was a Sag moon that night.
It was.
Yeah.
It was. I remember that.
And so it was so magical because I was kind of down in the dumps. I was just kind of feeling a little weird and interesting. And so it was when I ran into you, I knew that was the Sag magic.
You're the only reason I was out there. I know it. You're the only person that came to the table. It was a Sunday.
Oh, wow.
And I was just trying it to see if going out there and vending on a Sunday would be futile or not.
That was the first Sunday you'd ever done?
And the last one.
Except for tonight.
Yes.
That's
well, it's Halloween
wild.
tonight, but
right. Yeah,
I went out there just to see what the heck, let's just go see. And what I got out of that night was better than anything I could have taken home, which I met you. I mean, really.
And that just
you're the whole reason I was there. I see that in hindsight.
Oh, wow. I don't know. We've always had a powerful energy connection, And I just, it's I don't know. I feel it kind of reminds me of a Halloween movie, essentially.
A good one or a scary one?
No, a good one. Kind of I'm trying to think if it's, what is it? Practical Magic or something like that.
Oh, I love that movie. I just bought it the other day.
Oh, really? That's super funny. You remind me of the energy of that movie.
Oh, thank you.
I
love the energy of that movie.
Because you're the witchy ant.
I take offense to that.
Why?
Just
because you're
I want to be one of the young pretty ones. I'm just kidding. But see, when the movie came out, I was. Now I'm one of the aunts, so it's fair.
Well, because the connection we have is very fun ant energy.
Yes, it is.
And that's I've always treasured that. I felt we picked up some pieces that night.
We did. My granddaughter was about to be born.
Right. That was that night that we were speaking?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
We were literally counting we were literally watching the clock because we were trying to keep up with what her ascendant was going to be.
That and which moon?
Yeah, well, it was a set. She ended up, it wasn't a Sag moon that night. She ended up with
Virgo
an Aquarius
moon, right?
moon.
Oh, Aquarius moon. Okay, it was Aquarius moon.
She ended up with an Aquarius moon and Virgo, so it was a hot summer night that we were downtown that first Sunday that I met you. It was September.
Oh. Wow. For some reason, I thought it was in the fall, but that makes sense. I mean, I guess it was in the fall, but I thought it was later.
It was the day before fall.
Oh, my gosh. Wow. Wow, I feel we're bringing some energy full circle right now. But okay, so like it spread out so many energies. Like I ended up meeting Tracy and like another Sag. Like I did a soul portrait for her, and then not mentioning like just got to do yours, which is wild. Like I just realized, wow, just so many full circle energies, and like you activated me going into the vending. You really did. I had never done it before.
Really?
I had never done it. And, you know, like getting out there and stuff. And then it just started to turn into something. It really did. It took off. And I honestly haven't.
That's fabulous.
It's just like, whoa. And like, I remember being able to vend with you one time. Well, not that time, but I know you're the one you're talking about. That one, like, it was funny.
Yeah.
But it was at Blue Raven Market.
Oh, yeah.
The night that it rained and everything.
Yes. I loved her markets, though. I do. I haven't been back since she started doing them again. Haven't been back, but I don't know. There's so many intuitive women there. And so if my energy's not right, I'm all like, they're going to know.
They're going to know. I will tell you, you are this, like, genius witch. Like
who knew?
Intuitive. Like, you met Sammy. I told you about. Y'all have very similar energy. But it's like... hers very astral, yours is very grounded.
Well, that is something that I've never been described as ever.
But it's well, here's something interesting is I've noticed since knowing you, like you had this astral energy. Okay? It was very high up there. Right now I feel you grounding it all in.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's the things that are going on in my life are kind of causing that, and not since Nova, my granddaughter, was born. It has
Nova.
That has kind of made the
she's astral.
The wings on my feet, you know, want to just kind of make sure she's already. I used to not be into things like. It's not like I didn't want a home. I did, but like I didn't want to have bills. I didn't want to be wrapped up in a system that made me feel like I couldn't go and change my mind and do whatever I wanted at the drop of a hat. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
If I went to leave right now, I would have to talk to the landlady. I would have to, you know, tell the power company. I have a lot of arrangements to make. So I couldn't live my life like I wanted, you know. So I did not at the time or most of my life want all those things as my personal responsibility. And then since she's been born, it kind of changed. You know, I just like I'm in the system. Don't get me wrong. I have an ID, a driver's license, and all that. But like, this is different. This is part of me. I've never had a very important crossroads where I'm doing it by myself.
Yeah,
you know, and I'm 50.
Wow,
that's how long it took me as a Sagittarius to stop.
Wow,
I would not stop. I would not stop. There wasn't a risk I wouldn't take. There wasn't it wasn't an adventure I wouldn't go on. I would drop everything and leave the state without a dime, you know? I mean, nothing. Maybe that's easier for women than men, but that's, you know.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, she had a lot to do with it. And I have other grandchildren. I just haven't had the opportunity because they live out of state, and so does Nova, but I haven't had the opportunity to be as close to them so far.
Wow.
They're all nearly the same age.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Wow. Like, so much has shifted in your life. Like, wow. I also want to tell our listeners the incredible work you do. Okay? So she vends, but that's only like a snapshot of really everything, all of the work you put into, you know? She makes wands, okay? She does more than that, too. But I will tell you, okay, so we did a trade about a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't even know what time is anymore. But like essentially, I gave her, or I did a soul portrait for her, and she took me on this like adventure of creating a wand. It was like a wand workshop, but I like the adventure part better actually, because that's more so what it was. And so like she helps you, like, okay, imagine Harry Potter, guys, like if you're into that. You know how when I totally forgot his name right now, but the wand maker, the guy that is always there, right? He hands Harry the different wands. This is literally what happened in this session. Like, she has these different sticks that she purposefully, finds on her journeys. And they're not just sticks.
No. Mm-mm.
These are wands.
Your wand, Nova and I, all of that holly, Nova and I went to the woods and got.
Oh my gosh. That's incredible.
Not even kidding. That was just this past May.
Wow.
She would not stay out of the woods. We were, that's what we were doing. She was helping Mimi.
That's amazing. And just like those, that's so sad, by the way. So sad. Like to go on an adventure and like, get these beautiful items. Mm-hmm. And then, not to mention, that's just that's just the wand aspect, right? Then you have, everything that goes on it. And you have all these beautiful precious stones, and you engrave things, and you use your copper wire to harness the energies a certain way and move the energies a certain way. Like, she's a freaking genius with this.
They feel really good when you pick up one that's aligned with you in a way, even if you've never picked it up before.
Yeah.
You can feel it.
Yeah.
You can feel it. I get attached.
Can you tell us more about the process? Like what, like when you're like, maybe not like how I did things, because but you have your own process when you do this.
So mood.
Okay.
Mood. For example, I made one specifically for what we call luck. And I have it on my vending table right now. And the crystals that I picked were bright blue and bright green, azurite and malachite and lapis, bright blue, royal blue, Kelly green. And it was a mood that I was in, because I was, and so that's how I kind of make them. And I've noticed that when I have people help me, their moods come out in their wand. Like, for example, I have a friend whose 10-year-old daughter and her brother wanted to help me, wanted to see what it was like, wanted to make a wand. And the girl, unbeknownst to her, and to make a long story short, in her life she's lacking a female presence. Okay. And when she got to my house, she was really excited and felt nurtured and all these things, and know nothing about crystals. She picked all the crystals, rose quartz, peridot, these little, all about love. The whole thing was pink and light green, and she didn't know anything. That's just the happy mood that she was in. Wow. And just by what she did, I was like, well, clearly that's what this wand is. This what this one is going to be about. So that's when I burned the images of love in different ways, different runes, et cetera, and but you can just tell. And it was a mood. It just goes into it. So I think it's with any art, though, isn't it? If you're painting and you're in a bad mood, you're gonna.
True. Very much so, But, I find it super interesting because you're so knowledgeable with, so it's funny because there's like knowledge of knowing all the different stones, and then there's intuition of applying it too, Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, this feels right. And then just having that discernment and knowing as you create that beautiful wand or piece.
Yeah. Knowing the crystals does help, and especially when you're talking to people about the ones like, what is this about? So I've got several, like blue apatite and green apatite, and those are about growth and new beginnings, and if you look up the apatite crystal, you're not going to see that, like maybe one place, maybe you'll get lucky and see that, but I don't know what it is, but I kind of know that about apatite, like I just know it. I know that blue apatite has other uses too, but the main one to me is new beginnings, and it always appears to people who are looking, it always appears when they're going through change that's scary.
Yeah.
And they need a perspective switch where they won't be scared, where they go, this isn't scary. This change is just a new beginning. And I sell a lot of apatite because it really seems like people come up to the table. I let the crystals pick them, and I tell them, I said, I'm not going to tell you what anything means. You let the crystal pick you, and then I will tell you what it does and what it's for, and then you can decide if that works for you, right? Apatite is one of the best ones. Like the blue apatite, they'll go to reach to pick it up, and they'll be like, and I'll tell them exactly what I just told you. It helps you get through big changes, new jobs, new this, new that, new homes, and they'll just be mind blown. And they do. They think I'm a witch just because I know what the crystal does, and I know that the crystal picks them, and they just look at me like, wow. So they have this experience at the table, Right. Blue kyanite, for example, you have that on your wand. You picked it. And I have an issue with blue kyanite. I haven't been able to put my finger on it until just when I'm sitting here just now. But blue kyanite is really good for people to keep when they are speaking to big groups of people, having having like your podcasts or, at work, meeting tables, singing, stage, any of that. That's blue kyanite. That's what is really, those are the types of people it really helps. I have blown minds with people who come up to the table and they're like, I really like this one. What is this? And I tell them what it does, and they're just like, you're a witch, aren't you? No, but it's true. That's what it does. And I think that's why you picked it. And I'll tell you a funny story about me, and I just realized why I have an aversion to blue kyanite. I used to be a singer. I used to sing all over St. Pete, everywhere. I was just singing all over everywhere I went. But I reached a point in my life where I had to let that go. For most of my life, that was all I ever wanted to do. Wow.
I didn't know that.
And it was really hard, and it's to let go. Like my whole family everybody was a musician. Everybody was, anyway, you get to a point and realize that you're not, it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I had an acceptance year where I had to just let it go,
Yeah.
And I believe now, just sitting here talking to you, that might be, it's like a sore spot, I've let it go, but wow. It kind of like bugs me. It will bug me if I let it,
Yeah.
And that might be why I have an aversion to blue kyanite, because I'm trying to let it go.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense. Wow. Well, it's funny. How can you transform that?
I'm not sure. Maybe talking. I don't know.
I love that. Hey, and it's like sometimes our certain loves in life, they can be brought to life again in a different way than we never would have expected, I kind of actually had that happen last night, essentially. When I was gonna go out of high school into college, what I wanted to do, essentially, I had a couple different options on the table, and the first option was graphic design school. The other one was recording arts, and then the other one was the path I actually took. And I ended up getting a $5,000 scholarship to IADT, which was not an accredited school, and it was for the recording arts program. And because if I would have I don't know that I would have done something different, but because I know the path I took and I'm good with that.
Right.
But I may have thought things a little bit differently if I'd have known really the whole school thing and how much I did not give a crap in regards to whether it's accredited or not. You know, like clearly things worked out the way they did for a reason, but I always kind of was like, I've always wanted to get back into that and learn more about recording arts and everything like that. And last night I got to go see the most epic performance from my best friend.
I saw that little bits of it on Facebook. The live, you went live and she was spinning. Yeah, I saw that.
Oh,
it sounded great.
My gosh, that was her graduation.
Really?
That was her graduation. First time going in front of a group other than on Thursday. That was kind of her first time, but this was like her main performance. That was an art show type of thing. Yeah. Different energy completely. And magic happened. And I will tell you, okay, so what was really funny about this is she was only supposed to do the second set. Okay, it was supposed to be solely hers, and then her teacher preceding that did the first set, and then another teacher of hers, the one that like owns the DJ school, did the last set. Well, her teacher kind of shifted something a little bit, put her in an uncomfortable position for growth.
That's the most unfortunate.
Beautiful
thing. Good grief.
I could feel her. I could really feel her because the set she did was beautiful. Don't get me wrong. It was freaking beautiful. But she went to a whole new freaking level on the third one because what her teacher did was had her stay up there with her DJ music. She didn't know that was coming.
There you go.
And they would alternate doing each track, you know, and it was so beautiful because it put her in such a space of like she really didn't know what was coming and had to move through it intuitively. And
wow.
She got to
know herself a little better.
Oh,
it sounds like wow, I didn't even know I could do that. Check me out. I've just spent the whole day thinking about the next step. If I can do that, then
exactly. And so it was so wild because it translated to the entire listening audience. Mm-hmm. The energies that shifted during that. I mean, I will tell you, for the last week, my neck hurts so flippin' bad, okay? I mean, my herniated disc flared up, okay? And then something shifted last night where when they were doing the music together, they were doing energy work.
Oh, I see.
And it cracked open my heart in a good way because it took me back to that space of like the DJ in a different way, like the whole recording arts thing, because and I was like, it opened things up to be like, okay, there is creative energy. Whatever it is creative energy.
Yes.
And, you know, as well, I'll let you know this now that we're talking. Friday, I got the news that I'm moving forward with the process of making Aliyah, moving to Israel. And
I mean, that's great for you, but I'm a little bummed. I didn't mean to make that face about your plans, but
hey, you always have a place to visit.
Yes.
And I'll be back, of course, you know. But it shook something up because I've been getting visions. Like ever since that happened. Back-to-back type of stuff of my creative energies and how they're about to explode when I go there.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means exactly, but I had a vision during that, my heart being cracked wide open. And going through those emotions, I went back to the emotions of how I wasn't able to go to that school and take that path and everything. And I transmuted something. Like, I transmuted something in a beautiful way of like moving forward, and like that's not going to hold me back. I'm just going to take that beautiful creative energy and move it forward in the way that Hashem wants, the way the universe wants. And I don't know what I'm stepping into.
That's the fun part for your sad rising.
It's a fairy.
Is it?
Yeah. There's a little
little bitty
fairy traveling around us right now. Of course. Woodland creatures. I've seen them all over the place this Halloween. But yeah, like I feel like, I don't know, energetically I can feel like a lot of creative energy is about to open up and explode.
Yeah, I'm starting the plants thing. I don't know how creative that is. I mean, I'm creating, but it's not art. It's actually...
It's still beautiful because that is a creation process.
Do you want to know something so... I can't believe how dense I actually am.
What?
Check this out. So I started... I've got all these books now. Green Witchery. It's in my new venture.
Oh, I know that book. Okay.
Well, I've got several on the same subject, different opinions and ideas. Anyway, how did I not know that crystals were green witchery this whole time? How did I not know that? How did I never put that together?
You weren't ready to receive it in that way. You know? You're putting the puzzle pieces together now, and it's beautiful.
It's really bizarre. Like, it's like, what a duh moment.
Please tell us what you're learning about, if you'd like to share.
So it's green witchery. I've been inclined to start herbs on a large scale, like, I don't know, large might be relative to what other people plant in their large. They might have large properties. Large scale might seem it's probably not that large to the audience, but for me, it's going to be rather large, and it's going to be pretty much everything that I can think of to plant. That's what I want. I'm in the right space. I was gifted it. Like, I mean, I paid for it, but it all came together. It's really, really weird how the universe has been working in that way. But
weird.
I've had some intuitive moments too, and weird gifts. Like a bee tried to sting me the other day.
Oh, that's a good thing. He
tried to sting me, but he left a stinger at my thumb, but he didn't get it all the way through. And it was like, so I know he died.
That's an activation.
Well, I kept the stinger, so I'm like, thanks. I don't know what I'm going to do with that.
Wow, he gifted it to you.
Yeah, and I wasn't messing with I was sitting in a chair on the porch, and he was just on my finger.
Weird.
Yeah.
That's wild.
So when we did when you did my soul portrait, you were kind of talking about schooling. I was going to go to school. I was going to learn about this green thing that I was already actually kind of beginning when we talked. But so that's where I am really. I'm taking in. I believe in books, people that have experience, but I'm not taking all of their meanings. Like, some things are pretty much everybody knows about, say, basil, for example. Right off the top of my head, I can't think of everything about basil, but there are some basic things. But I think there might be other things.
Yeah.
So every once in a while, I'll have a download I don't know, a download of something intuitive about, if I could just get some of this, then that'll be good for that. I actually got some belladonna, dried belladonna.
Please tell us some more about belladonna.
Well, it's deadly nightshade. It's extremely poisonous. But
don't eat it, guys.
as I It depends on who you ask. So I'm belladonna. Actually, while we're having this conversation, that's just one example of how you want to read out as much as you can. One person says every part of the plant is poisonous. Another person says just the berries are poisonous.
Yeah.
Another person says all the animals can eat belladonna, like your rabbits or whatever that comes in your garden, but cats and dogs can't, and humans. So you really want to just keep going, reading as much as you can until you get some kind of grip on what the actual truth is. Sometimes that takes putting everything together and discerning it for yourself, you know?
Totally. And you know what? Okay, so I don't think I've ever told you this, but I took an herbalism course back in the day. I think it was like 2017 or something like that. And it was over here at Traditions.
Really?
Yeah, and it was really cool because she taught me something that, I mean, it made a lot of sense when she said it, but I would never like put it together myself, essentially. And she's like, so if plants are smart, they're living beings.
Yes.
And like,
well, they have a consciousness, even though it's not exactly, you know, like ours or an animal's. It's still a consciousness per se.
Yeah. Like, okay, so like what she was saying is like, for instance, say you really needed a certain plant for some type of reason and you couldn't find that plant. You can talk to another plant to take on those particular attributes, like that actual plant. Like say you needed stinging nettle and there's only basil there, and you are asking that plant to take on the energetics of the stinging nettle, it can do it.
Yep, probably.
And it's like, whoa, that's how powerful one, communication is, belief, and intention.
Yeah. I'll be honest. I've got seeds to plant belladonna.
Yeah.
I want to start my own seeds. I want to start my own plants. I don't want to keep getting stuff from people that they've dried and have them and ordered. I don't want that. I mean, I have it now, but like I want to move from that.
Yeah.
Please do not try this at home.
Oh God.
Okay. I took 2 pinches, like just in between my fingers, and put it into. I took my coffee pot with a filter. I tore open some tea bags, and I took of actual tea. I put 2 pinches of the dried belladonna in 6 cups of tea. Okay, I only drank 6 cups, which in my coffee cup world, that's like 2 cups. You know, my coffee cup's big, but I drank 1 cup of it though, and it was like I was out sleeping out. I didn't pass out. I went to sleep. I slept really good. You know what I mean? I'm going to try it again because that was my very first time. And I'm kind of wondering, placebo, like, I know what belladonna can do. I know what I've heard. I know what I've read.
What is belladonna? What is it good for?
Well, people can use it as a sedative. You saw the movie Practical Magic. They killed the guy with it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. Whoa, that's pretty cool. That was very full circle.
Do you want to know another full circle thing? Remember when you came to my house, I told you, like, I'm 50. I have no tattoos, but I want a tattoo now. I want the belladonna tattoo plant on my shoulder or on my upper arm. Huh. Okay. But this is part of me accepting my past is belladonna, because when I was a singer, the main thing that people wanted to hear me do, because I did it so precisely, because I started when I was like 10 years old, was singing Stevie Nicks.
Oh.
And I would I sounded just like her. It was hard to find a band that could play like them. But I sounded just like her, and it got to the point where it started to kind of get, I don't know, no offense to Stevie Nicks, but like I got sick of it. I got really sick of it. At one point, I dyed my hair dark chocolate cherry burgundy, and I was like, nobody's gonna say that to me ever again. You know, I was like in my 20s.
Oh my gosh.
And Anyway.
Can you still sing like Stevie Nicks?
Sometimes. Do
it.
No.
I'm just kidding.
So the name of her album, my uncle had the album, and her very first solo album, its title was Belladonna.
Oh, yeah. And was it the white?
Yes.
With the...
Yes.
Oh, my gosh.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now that I've moved into this area of my life where I'm starting the herbalism and the, I don't know, I want to call it green witchery, because I'm not interested in giving people concoctions that I could get in trouble for. Okay, I'm not interested in that. You know, to heal you, that would be great. But what if it doesn't? Like, you don't know what people might be allergic to. Like, I'm really not into that yet.
Gotcha.
Nowhere near there.
So it's like self-experiments. Right now.
Right. And if I grow an exponentially huge amount of basil, I'll just sell them. You know.
Yeah.
What's a basil? $2, whatever.
Yeah, $2.
You know. Yeah.
That's really funny.
So the tattoo and that I'm getting is it's kind of bringing the past into the future, and that plant is just right on point. Plus, it's really beautiful, purple and green.
Oh wow! Well, if you need a tattoo artist, my buddy is incredible. His name is Matt Critica. Just a little shout out to you, bro. Wow, that's amazing.
That's full circle.
Yeah, it's actually even more full circle than you know.
Really?
Yeah, because my wand, you put my tattoo like image on that wand.
Yes.
And that was my ascension tattoo. Actually, in the previous episode that I just did, I was talking about the energy of like, you know, like the zodiac energy, like how they're written. Mm-hmm. So you have Scorpio, like the M, but it has that like that hook that's more so like kind of like the Sag.
Yes.
And then it leads, of course, the next zodiac is the Sag. So you have that bow literally shooting up. Mm-hmm. I find that so interesting.
The transition.
Yeah. And so like for me, like even though I am a Sag rising, it just made so much sense. Like as a Scorpio and then like moving in a direction of higher, it just like works so well. And so like I had that infinity, but it has that Sag Scorpio bow. And I'm like, what the heck? Of course, I did that on Friday the 13th, and I was not planning on getting a tattoo.
Wow.
At all. There was a psychic moment there, which was really funny, actually.
Really?
Because the whole reason I was there is because Friday the 13th in October, you know, it was October Friday the 13th, in 2018, I had took, at that time, my best friend, her partner, and my wife at the time, down to go get tattoos. And I had said I wanted to go to a metaphysical shop first. And thinking it's freaking 4 o'clock, you know, they're till midnight. Except it's Friday the 13th in October. So everybody's going to get a tattoo. So that long line is to God knows where. And so my friend Christina, whom I promised the tattoo, and that I would get there on time, she was the last person before they closed it off, and she was the next one. And I was like, oh crap, I'm screwed. And so because at that point I was like, I'm not getting a tattoo. Hey, I'm the driver.
Yeah.
And what was really funny is I woke up. Sorry, let's go back a little bit. Okay, so like probably 4 months later, it was like a Tuesday. Yeah, I remember the date. I don't know why. I would work with my best friend Christina. We worked at Great Clips together, and so we were going through the Clearwater Mall parking lot and driving and stuff. And I said to her, "Remember how we always talked about getting a tattoo together?" I said, "You know, that would be really cool." I said, "I don't think I'll ever get a tattoo, but if I did, I would want it super meaningful. And I would probably want it over my heart because that's something meaningful to me.
Yeah, man.
You know, and she's like, "Oh, okay, whatever." You know, and I was like, and I had sat there. We drew out our own tattoo and all of that and everything, and apparently it was a premonition moment because that was Tuesday. On Friday, I didn't know that it was Friday the 13th that week. Like, wasn't a thing, but I was reading the energies apparently, and I woke up that morning out of my bed. At this point, I've separated from my ex-wife and everything. Like, that's how much has changed in like a 4-month period of time. And holy freaking smokes. I was like, oh my God, it's Friday the 13th. I need to call Christina. Hey, Christina, you want to get a tattoo today? So I'm just asking her because I was like, I'm not getting a tattoo. And then I get to the place and I'm like, I'm getting a tattoo. We get the same exact tattoo. Just she has hers downwards and I have mine upwards.
Wow, that's cool.
And hers is on her neck and I choose mine over my heart. And of course, she's like, yeah, right, you're going to get yours over your heart. You're going to be a little bitch. That's literally what she said. And I was like, you don't know me very well, even though you've known me my whole life. And so it was actually one of the most spiritual experiences I've ever had because I made peace with the tattoo and I breathed into it. I mean, it was probably a very Scorpio sadistic type of thing, but like I literally did not feel pain at all. I literally leaned into it.
Wow.
It was because I could have totally approached it as a fear thing and I didn't. And it shifted something. And I will tell you, that was the moment I literally set the intention. That was my ascension tattoo. And since then, I've been soaring higher and higher.
Wow.
Whoa.
Fairy.
It's a fairy. Oh, wow. Well, is there anything else you would like to share with us?
I would like to. So I'm starting small with the herb and I'm just going to keep saying green witchery. I don't really...
Go for it, yeah.
That's the way I'm going to say it. So things that I'm interested in doing are not exactly spells, but just like when we purchase a crystal and we know what it does and we want it for that reason, okay? So I'm working on pendants, but they're glass jars, and we've all seen them. They put little crystals in them and make them, but I'm working on something different, a little different than that. In my yard, I have discovered that I have 2 different types of plants. One's a bleeding heart. One is called, I can't remember the name of it, Chinese something. Anyway, they both symbolize saying farewell.
Interesting.
And things like that. So like the first one I really want to make, I don't know anybody personally who's grieving the loss of somebody, but I want to make a pendant. I want to have them for people who are, you know what I mean? So it'll have those herbs in it. It'll have those crystals in it. So it's not a spell. It's just an energy help to get through that process.
Ooh, you know what that kind of reminds me of? Apache Tears.
Really?
Yeah, it has the same type of energy. A lot of times with transitional, people moving on to the grief and all that, that's the stone for that. Maybe.
Wow. Okay, that makes sense. But I'm interested in doing it specific also. So if someone, for example, if someone is just looking to be or feel more sexual, get on it. I've got that. I've got a little jar you can wear around your neck, and you won't be able to.
Oh my gosh! You got one for strength?
I haven't thought of that yet.
I don't know. It just came through.
The things I should protection and strength. The things that have come to me based on what I found in my own space.
Yeah.
Look, I have quite the lot to be in the city of St. Petersburg, right? You know what I mean? And So these things with that app that I have, I just take a picture of it. The app tells me what it is, but it gives me more. It gives me folklore. It gives me symbolism and things like that of it. I'm just like, wow, this.
What app do you have?
It's called Picture This.
What?
And I got it when I was in North Carolina, and I know what a holly tree looks like. I went in the woods to get holly for my wands. But I had the little girl with me, and I wanted to know what everything was. And so I downloaded that app. Like, I don't even know how I found it. Maybe it found me. But I just went, what? Ended up buying it instead of the trial, and now I love that thing. I could take a picture of anything. One time I took a picture of somebody else's plant, and my app said, by the way, that's wilting, and you need to give it some water.
Are you serious?
Even kidding.
That's wild. I've been asking for an app like that. I'm downloading Picture This.
Yeah, well, I thought you get a 30-day free trial like most things, but it's only 7 days, so I ended up paying for it by accident, but I'm going to pay for it. I'm good with paying for it. So it's $20 a year. It's $19.99 a year.
Oh, wow. That's not bad.
And for everything that I've used it for already, I've got this little ground cover in my yard.
Yeah.
That was there when I moved there.
Wow.
Really pretty. And it produces these pretty little yellow flowers. And they come just under the lawnmower blades when I have my yard mowed.
Wow.
So they're always there. And the symbolism of that plant, even though it's hard for me to remember the names of plants, but it used to be hard for me to remember the names of crystals too, and I got that now. So it's just a matter of time.
There you go.
But this particular ground cover is about unswerving loyalty. That's its symbolism. So I'm kind of like working that into what I can mix with that for what effect.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I love that. It's very much so intention setting. I do that a lot with my bracelets. Mm-hmm. It's funny because I was literally saying to myself today, I'm like, I'm going to start making more bracelets. It's time. Because, with everything with what happened with Michael Gabriel and everything, and the court case got all summed
that
up.
ending. I'm glad that made you feel good.
Oh, my gosh. I'm sorry. When a judge can literally talk a spiritual thing right there in the courtroom, like, was mind-boggling. Like, I was like, did he just say that? Everybody was like, because it was the exact answer to my prayer that I had. I literally said, if anything is to come out of this, allow for him to change his life around. And bam. Like, he didn't have to share that information, but he did. And I was like, whoa.
Well, divine works in strange ways, but
Yeah.
your judge might have been wise.
He very much so was. He was a very wise judge.
I want to say most of them are, but it's very difficult to maintain. I would think. I don't know for sure, but I would think that it's very difficult to maintain a lot of spiritual energy when you're stuck in that system as your day job, as your constant.
And that's the thing is, like, we as energy workers or whatever, those who kind of are outside the system, essentially, for someone to be inside the system and still work that energy, still be in that spiritual place, that's a hero right there. Because imagine the role they have to play, but still, keep themselves clear. That's incredible. Wow. I know several beings that I've noticed that they're just true heroes in that way. Wow. Oh, wow. Is there anything else you'd like to share?
Well, I'm breaking off into my own. My business was Cosmic Soul Gems. I'll just say it.
Yeah.
And now I'll be doing my own. I'm not a member of that anymore.
Gotcha.
Although, thankfully, after 5 months of basically bickering, we've managed to be amicable about it. So I'm not parting with hard feelings, and I'm gonna take off and do my own thing, including the green witchery, and Yeah, that's about it. I mean, that's where I'm at. It's hard work. I found out this morning. It took me 3 hours. Okay, it took me 3 hours to just take. Like I started seeds in a wet paper towel. I started them like a week and a half ago, and you just keep the paper towel wet, and they'll sprout, right? And I only did like 7 different plants, and all these seeds sprouted. And I woke up and I looked at them this morning. I was like, oh, great! Like I've got to do this right now, and I couldn't save them all because some of them had stuck and tried to grow through the paper towel. And
okay.
Anyway. I should have just planted the paper towel. But anyway, getting it all organized the way that I wanted it and getting them into pots and into the right light with the right water and all that stuff, it didn't seem like it was that difficult, yet there I was for 3 hours.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a work. Well, plus waiting for things to grow. I don't know about you as a Sagittarius, but I have absolutely no patience.
That is super funny. Okay, so being Scorpio and Sag energies, dominance.
I've got to do something while I'm waiting for plants to grow.
Well, because like Scorpio energy can be very, very patient. Very patient. But Sag, not so much. And I'm like, I literally have to I have to bring myself back into center because immediately, like when something comes to me, I want to act on it.
Yes, I did a lot of that over the summer. Hey, I've got an idea. Trying to mend a situation. I've got an idea. Let's do this. This will fix it. And it was like, no, wait, we got to think about it. Just never mind. 2 days later. Okay, I like your idea. I'm over it. I don't even remember what it was. I've got a new idea.
Ooh, you're bringing in some of that Gemini Earth there. For real.
Really?
Yeah.
That's my daughter. It's a Gemini.
So your Earth is also a Gemini.
Okay.
So that's how.
Oh yeah, the opposite.
Yeah. It's so funny. I was talking with a friend last night, and we've not had a physical conversation in a very long time. I didn't get to tell her about the work I was doing in regards to earth signs and really going deep into that. And I started a book, except, well, part of the universe, very funny. The 3 books that I was writing, the iCloud thing accidentally got deleted.
Oh, shoot.
So, well, probably not accidentally, I will say that, and there's a purpose. But essentially, I got to restart it, and it's going to be better, But the fact that she was literally telling me, she just, so intuitive, starts talking about her earth sign. I was like, someone's on the same page as me. Yes. Because, and that's how I know energy speaks.
There you go.
Bam. Oh, wow. Well, can you... go ahead. Sorry. I feel you
when you first asked me if I wanted to do this, I was like, okay, what are we going to talk about? And you were like, just let it flow. Just let it flow.
Yeah.
And so that's good. But there's still that book.
Please tell us about the book.
So when I was 25, that was 25 years ago, I went to John's Pass Village, and they had a little metaphysical store, and I went in and I bought this book. I opened it up to a page. Remember I told you my story about dreams, the coming true, and deja vu, and all these things were happening to me. I opened it up just randomly to a chapter in this book at this store, and about deja vu, and I was like, you know what, I'm getting this book. This book. Well, this copy of this book is the 13th copy that I've had over and over and over again. Are
you serious?
Yes.
That's funny.
And the first chapter, we could do a week of podcasts on one chapter, okay?
Yeah.
But anyway, the labors of love and the money mystique. And that's what we're all searching for, and I find that, and I hear that when you talk too. So you would... A lot of people are at work and they're doing jobs they don't really like, but they like the money. Mm-hmm. They don't feel fulfilled.
Yeah.
And they're just in this limbo in life, thinking things like, this can't be all life is. This can't be all life is about.
Yeah.
And I've been there. You've probably been there.
Definitely.
And in the first chapter, as I said, Labors of Love and the Money Mystique, she really talks about money as an energy. And not a bad energy.
Yeah.
It's a good energy. It's only the intentions behind it that make money bad. Either how you get it or what you do with it. That's it. Those are only two things that can make money a negative energy. Otherwise, it's just green energy.
It's just energy.
It's just green energy. And Labors of Love is literally what it means. Literally how it sounds. Work at something you love. Even if it's hard. Even if it's hard to make a living. Even if you can't do it but part-time for a while. Pick something you like. And because you love it, because your loving energy is in to doing whatever it is, you're going to succeed. You have absolutely no option not to.
Right?
You have no option. You cannot fail when you're doing something you love. You can't. And when I met you, I kind of have stopped now, but I was learning photography and I got really good at it.
Yes, you are.
And I wanted the city of St. Pete to notice me so bad. I was like, Instagram, everywhere. I was being featured on pages, but I wanted, what's it called? VSPC, Visit St. Pete Clearwater. It's the big tourist thing, right? They finally saw me, And what was happening was I was getting so good, and I got good very quickly because I couldn't stop, because I loved it so much. I was obsessed. I was just like, this is so it was what I thought about and what I studied, and I did it every day because I loved it. And, if it hadn't been for what I'm doing now, I might have kept on and probably made money doing that. But it's your intention. So now I do love working with crystals and the things that I sell, making the things that I make. I mean, those are all fabulous things, but it's not like I don't need money, or it's not like I am doing it for free, but I love it. So it's coming easy. And so is the payout.
Yeah.
It comes easy.
You have no struggle or fight in regards to because like your intention's pure and the energy is give, receive, very fluid.
Well, see, and then this lady, Linda Goodman, that's the author. The book is called Star Signs, and even though it does have astrology in it, it's like her first two books was Sun Signs and then Love Signs.
Interesting.
Sun Signs was written in the 60s, anyways, so
yeah.
This is different. This is a whole different journey, even though astrology is in it. Anyways, this is what throws people off. I know people have gotten to read the book and they're like, I'm not doing that with my money. So she says, every time you get paid, you pay your bills, everything you owe, make sure you're good. You've set yourself, you've got your bills paid, you've got food, you've got everything that you need, and even some extra to do a few things if you might want. And then when you have extra after that, cut that in half, give it away. Just give half of what you don't need in the moment, give it away. Give away half your money. And once you start doing that, you become a conduit for money. And it just comes back. It just keeps coming around to you. It just, all of a sudden, you've just got money. I've known people before I understood. I've known people that did that. You know where Bad Boy Appliances is in St. Petersburg? Have you ever heard of Bad Boy Appliances?
I think so, yeah.
Well, the owner, who's passed now, his son runs it, but the owner back then, he always had so much money. And he was just handing it out. Here, you need... he was very helpful. He never needed money.
Yeah.
I mean, he started that business from nothing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just the fact of giving and what you get back. And I tried it one time. I gave someone in my life at the time who needed help, I gave him $300. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, I'm doing it. And I was a little nervous, I'm not going to lie. I had everything I needed. I was okay, but I'm still a little nervous. And the very next day, I was walking down the sidewalk, and I found five $100 bills stapled to the inside of an envelope, laying
Sag.
on the sidewalk.
Sag.
And I'm like, did that just happen? Like And I'm not saying I'm not saying everything happens just like that did, but that's an awful.
If you're a Sag, it could. I'm just kidding. No, I resonate with that wholeheartedly. From my perspective, it's a very deeply Jewish principle that
Kabbalah. Technically, this is what it is.
It really is.
Do the whole book.
And that's something I actually have been working on. What I've been doing my best at is getting my bare necessities, covered, and all of the debts I, had owed or whatever, getting that out of the way. And then I've been setting aside what we call a tzedakah box.
Okay.
And putting that money in there, because I wanna do something with it, give it away, of course, but I want to do it in a deeper way. I feel like it's gonna have to do with starting a foundation or something,
Yeah.
And so I've been kind of I've never really told anybody this, so it's kind of funny. I've been setting that intention when I can do that. All of my change, I'll literally put it in there. I've been trying to I haven't been doing 50%, but it's more so 10%. And then the rest is saving, for Israel and stuff. Again, part of a bigger vision, but I'm really curious because I just listen and I want to know what that turns into. I really do. Because for me, that Sag energy in me wants to just give it, right? Just pick something and do it. But the Scorpio in me is saying this is a very patient process of listening and putting it in there for whatever reason that I'm still waiting on. And so it's been very weird.
Yeah. I can imagine. Yeah.
But yeah.
So that's what I'm working on again. I'm working on just trying to make sure that I like what I'm doing.
Thank you for sharing that book. Could you read the title and the person?
It's called author? Star Signs by Linda Goodman.
Goodman, okay.
She was the first to have a best-selling astrology book back in the 60s when all the, This book she wrote, actually what happens, she tells you in the preface, it was 1970. She was at a hotel. She believes this man wearing a turban kind of visited her, saying he read her other two books and that she was going to write another book and that she was going to be doing it from a mountaintop. She was staying at a hotel in New York City, and he was like, you're going to be doing it in some mountain, and he was telling her all these things. And in her description, he kind of vanishes through the door. He vibrates through the door. He doesn't open the door. He just kind of leaves the door. And then ultimately, she ends up living in Cripple Creek, Colorado, which is really... I love that place. Anyway, it took me years to get there. I went up into her house.
Wow.
But so she ends up writing this book in most of the late 70s and early 80s. She lived there. It was a house that Nikola Tesla lived in that house.
Oh my gosh.
It's really the whole book is adorable. Anyway, 2018 I finally went to Cripple Creek, Colorado, and got my picture taken on the front doorstep of the house that she was in when she wrote this book. I really love this book, okay?
That's amazing.
She taught me something. I think try this sometime.
Yeah.
I can't remember. It's some Irish magic. I can't remember how it goes, why this happens, but I know that it happens.
Yeah.
So when you're in a room, when you're with you and another or more people, and you're talking, and everybody's just talking, and then all of a sudden, nobody's talking. And that weird silence that you can't, break.
Yeah.
Do you know that feeling?
Yeah.
We've all had it. Look at your clock when that happens. It will always be 20 minutes after or 20 minutes till the hour, whatever hour. That uncomfortable moment of, shit, everything just got so quiet. Watch it. Look at it. Remember it. It will always be 20 minutes till or 20 minutes after.
Ooh, that's creepy.
It's cool as shit.
That's really cool. No, that's perfect. Energy speaks.
I love this book. She got a bunch of cool things like that.
I'm going to definitely look her up.
Yeah. It is the Kabbalah. She does numerology. She uses the Hebrew and Chaldean. Chaldean, is that how you say it?
Chaldean. Chaldean.
So she does the numerology with them, with those numbers and letters.
That's really interesting because, Abraham, okay, he was known as the first astrologer. Why? Because he was actually a Chaldean, however you say the word.
Right.
And so he got all of his information from learning this. Like, he was deeply, and what was the difference between Abraham and, what he learned from, how he was raised is like the deeper wisdom that Hashem illuminated through the stars.
Right.
And so that's super interesting. I can't wait to look at this.
This is fabulous. Her favorite subject is...
And money.
Yeah. Her favorite subject is the Aquarian age. Because, she was alive and in her youth during the 60s when that song, This is the Dawning of the Age of Aquarius and all that.
Yeah.
Right. But that was just the dawning. And we're still kind of in the beginning. We're not
Yeah.
there yet. But I've watched it in my own life. I found this book when I was young, and I'm twice the age I was when I found this book, and everything that she's saying back then is true. The way everybody's waking up, the spiritual movement, the metaphysical thing that's taking off. If you can, hitch your wagon to that star kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then she goes through a whole thing of charging money, watching out for people who charge money for spiritual consultation, psychics, this and that and the other. It's really awesome. But not only is it astrology, numerology, there's also everything we've never really been taught about: sound, colors. The colors chapter is called The Forgotten Rainbows. The sound chapter is called Forgotten Melodies. And it's all stuff we would know if we weren't in this 3D, going to school, learning what they teach us and nothing else. You know what I mean? And so, I fell in love with it. At the very end, the very last chapter, and I used to have an aversion to this because I was raised in a Baptist kind of belief system. So physical immortality is the last chapter.
Interesting.
And everybody was like, don't read that. That's terrible. But so dumb. It's actually just a whole chapter teaching about how you can cure with your mind over matter. You can cure yourself. She does quote Jesus a lot and says, this is what he really meant. He meant you can do this too. And he healed people. She talks about faith. She talks about our minds and our hearts and she won't even use the word belief or even faith. I mean, she did, but she prefers no. You just know. So there's a difference between believing something. There's a difference between believing something or even having faith in something.
Totally.
Than knowing something. If you know something, it's absolute. It has no room to...
It's funny because how I would interpret those is so belief is actually connected with Sagittarius energy.
It also has the word lie right in the middle of it.
It does.
She'll get you for that.
Well, I feel like everything has a particular energy and it shows us something. It doesn't mean we, it's being more conscious at this point, Faith is more connected with Pisces energy. No energy, the knowing energy is associated with the Aquarius energy, which makes a lot of sense.
It does.
And that's what we're really moving into. We're stepping out.
That's the whole preface. This is where we're going.
Yeah.
This is the things that religion didn't teach you. This is why they're so stuffy, and And as humanity is evolving, we're going to grow out of that. And it's not that we don't love them; it's just that we don't like them anymore.
Yeah.
You know, she's darling. The way she writes is so adorable that you just want to kind of. It's like she's talking to you.
Yeah.
You know, instead of everything being just right, you know, edited by some genius, saying it has to be written a certain way. She's different. It's really a fun read.
I love that.
It's wonderful. It changed my life. It changed my life. I found it at the right time, and I've had it ever since. I've bought it. I bought one for my kids. I bought each one of my kids. I bought one for my sister. I bought one for my friend Chandra that you met. I bought her one a couple of years ago. Every time I see somebody and they're like my kids, I wanted to shove it down their throats. I was like, you're going to read that.
That's funny.
Everybody else, I was like, here, I think you would like this. But you know how you are when you're a mom. I mean, you don't, but you know what I mean. I'm just like, I'm giving you this book. This is what it cost me, and you're going to read it. You know,
that's hilarious.
I was like that. It's true.
Thank you so much for sharing all of your wisdom. It's
Thank you.
True wisdom, and
I love you. You know it.
I love it. It's so cool just to even see how much you've opened up within this podcast. I love it. I love it. And this is why I love doing these. It's
cool.
I
see what you mean now.
Yeah, it's a transformational process within the episode. Mm-hmm. Well, I want to also say, is there a way that people can reach out to you in regards to things that you make, different things? Anything?
They can reach out to me on Facebook.
Facebook, okay.
And I have an Instagram also. Mm-hmm. It is @just_Mendi.
Okay.
You just won't see wands there because that was always just for my photography.
Okay.
But I can still be reached there and Facebook.
Okay.
And I have a TikTok. I have a TikTok. Can you believe it?
I don't even know what that is.
Oh my gosh, you gotta get a TikTok.
I don't want a TikTok.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
No.
I'll show you. I'll show you a couple of my TikToks before I go. Just one or two, okay? And just show you that you can make videos that are super easy. And if you can fill up a minute. Anyway,
you were just like Sammy. It's so funny. She has a TikTok every 5 seconds on Facebook, and I'm like, what is this? I don't know.
So my TikTok and my Instagram are @just_Mendi, Mendi. Nobody ever spells my name right, so I gotta tell you.
I literally was just
Mendi.
I was sending to your higher self, can you please spell your name?
Why did my mother do that? What was the point?
You know you can change your name. It is a thing. But I think you've had it this long, so I think it'll work.
So in this book, really quick, I'm going to tell you, they have she does lexigrams, right? So check it out. That means when you take your name, you can't have overabundance of vowels, but you take your name, like say mine, Mendi Curtis, and then sit down, use your intuition, pick out every word you can find, you can make out of those two.
Oh, I've done that before.
You won't believe music is totally in my name.
Oh, yeah. Totally. Mendi Curtis, yeah.
You won't believe how your name, you would love this book. It helps you identify things about yourself that you don't even, like citrus, like oranges are my favorite freaking thing, and that's in my name.
That's amazing.
It is. If you use your intuitive self and you do the lexigram of your name, you will just be blown away at the obvious things that are right there in your name. Like your name is divine. Your name is actually a thing.
Catriel, and the name I'm going to be using in Israel is Catriel Michael Ze'ev. That's funny. It spells tree. I love trees.
It's like if you have too many vowels, though, you'll just end up with every word under the sun. So, like with Mendi Curtis, I've only got E, I, and U.
I love that.
See what I mean? So it's like I can't go but so far.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, it's fun, too.
Well, again, you are more than welcome on Energy Speaks anytime.
Well, thank you. I want to come back.
Definitely.
Next time, I'm going to actually pick a chapter and I'll be like, Catriel. I'm sorry,
Kevin
audience.
works too.
I knew him as Kevin, and I haven't caught on.
It's okay. You know, okay. It's not like I ditched the name completely.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, it's still a part of me. But I thank you all for listening to my heart's just so full when I do these episodes.
It was fun. Yeah.
Well, thank you all, divine, beautiful souls. I'm sending you blessings and so much love on this Halloween. That will be translated into when you're listening to it. Have a beautiful day. Shalom.